welcome to the Ramsey's after show or extension show. Um, Ramsey has COVID, so his show was not so long today. Welcome, Andy.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, Rands is a real trooper. I'm glad he did a show even though he didn't feel well. So
Yeah,
big ups to Ramsey.
yeah, yeah. And others are welcome to join. Um, just follow the link in the stream where I, yeah, where I ask you to join. Yeah. Um, any news from you, Andy?
Not much. Just this guy, new toy. Just got hooked up and started learning some basic rock beats. I don't know shit about drumming other than hand
Mm.
drums and percussion. So just getting so used to using sticks and I haven't started rudiments yet, but I learned some basic, some really good tutorials on YouTube. So I learned some good rock beats just to get started. Get that. The hardest thing is that coordination. It's one thing to do two hands on a keyboard, but it's really hard to have the four independent things going, and keeping it all straight and that getting the perfect meter, all that kind of stuff. It's really a challenge.
Mm.
And I
What?
respect a lot of drummers. So when I watch them, I mean, I'm always in awe of them anyway. But when you start trying to do what they do on a real basic level, it's just, it's a quantum leap and, stuff. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
If I had a drum kit like that, I would sample it and use it
Well, I
on the
mean,
door.
I had a really crappy Simmons one for a couple years from Guitar Center since they owned Simmons. And it was like I don't know, $300 for just a kind of a basic set, but it didn't have chokeable cymbals, it didn't have mesh pads, it didn't have all the cool stuff you expect now, the multiple zone triggers and stuff. But it had USB MIDI, and I go, oh, that's what I want it for. I want to trigger my synths and drum modules and other stuff. It was not class compliant MIDI, so it was useless to
Mm.
me anyway, because I wasn't using it with a computer. So I opened it up, I alligator clipped a bunch of I made some cables with alligator clips, and I made quarter-inch cables to go out. I bought a Roland TD6 fused brain, and I just used the kit to trigger the TD6 brain, and that worked for a while. But again, no expression. They're noisy as hell rubber pads. It wasn't fun. So it
Mm.
kind of sat here as a kind of a coat rack for a while, with stuff all over it, until I finally saw Sweetwater had a crazy deal, clearance item for the TD17 KVX. So I was like, oh, I got to get it now because
Mm.
it's like $500-600 off. And unfortunately, if you don't know the kits well, they on the better kits they don't include a hi hat stand, and they don't include a kick pedal, so you have to supply your own. So I had to go figure that out. I also added an extra pad while I was at it, so I have all the ports filled now. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of fun, but more stuff to buy, more stuff to learn. Who has the time? So,
Yeah.
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 How about you?
Have
What you been
you?
up to?
I'll get back to that. Not much
Okay.
actually,
Yeah.
but um, have you have you ever wondered how much such a drum drum kit, uh, how much noise it makes? I think when you use it, you probably sit with headphones or loudspeakers, and you don't really hear how much noise it makes.
The
Um,
mesh heads are very quiet.
yeah,
Not only do they give you that feel of kind of like a skin, not really, but kind of a skin feel, and the bounce that you want. But they're very, very quiet. Of course, the cymbals are hard rubber, so
mm,
they make the whack whack when you hit them. But they're pretty
yeah,
much more like a thud than a whack. They're not too bad. But those
mm,
rubber pads you buy in most kits, like kits below $1,500, usually have rubber pads, and they can trigger well and they can work well on the audio end. But in the
mm,
room, it's like bam, bam, bam. It's like tons of noise, right? And
yeah,
part of the reason I like these kits is not just because I want to do electronic stuff with it, but I don't want a loud acoustic kit where I live. It would just drive everyone nuts, right? They just make too much noise, and then you got to mic everything specially, so it needs a whole setup to do it right. and your room has to be decent. I think not always, but if you want to get good recordings, you just do some room treatment and stuff. I can't be bothered with all that stuff. So, I mean, everything here runs through a mixer. I don't really care what the room is doing. So,
No.
but I
The
mean, I
room is
do when I
part
do a
of
little
it.
bit of recording with percussion stuff. If I do like a close mic thing here on this little stand I have the laptop on, and I'll have a recorder there, and I'll sit here with a mic on the stand, and it's a very localized thing. It's not getting a lot of room noise. That's pretty good. But if I'm like I was hitting drums and making all kinds of stuff, this room would sound like crap, you know. So
Yeah. I've also been thinking about isolating this room. We may move the bedroom to another room when the son moves out, but it's in
oh
the
yeah,
future sometime.
that's
Um,
cool.
and I've been thinking if I should do something about it. It's not good with the blank walls, but of course I could put synths up there.
Yeah,
uh, but I'm thinking of um, curtains, putting up curtains. Um,
that helps.
yeah,
We
yeah,
did roof
it's
treatment. My previous company was kind of a startup, and we kind of could do whatever the hell we wanted. They had money to burn, so I was in charge of doing like CEO videos and all kinds of other stuff because I'm also a video guy and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do videos too. I don't care. But we'd record these videos in these rooms, and also they would do some of the conferencing in there. And the conferencing calls have the the echo cancellation stuff, so you don't get all the crazy reverberant stuff in there and messed up calls. But the rooms, some of the rooms are too hot; they're just too live. So I basically worked with a guy. We hired some guy to come in because we didn't want to pay crazy money for the panels, and he was already doing some kind of handiwork around the place. So I worked with him to build some of those frame panels you see on all the walls, like rectangular things. And it's really simple. It's just basic wooden frames you just put together in a few minutes. Some um, kind of cottony kind of we call it like batting material, I think, and like ottomans and stuff. And then a pleasant kind of a muslin cloth or whatever on the outside to give it some color and look. And when you attach it correctly, it looks pretty professional. And do it on for pennies on the dollar. And we put a bunch of those around the room, and it made a huge difference. My initial experiment was I bought a bunch of heavy duty um, kind of sheets, just because they wanted to do it quickly, and we didn't have time for the guy to come in. I said I'm going to go to. I mean, it looked terrible, but I said ignore the look of this room for about a week. We're doing experiments here to get better sound quality, and I literally gaffer taped up a bunch of heavy duty bed sheets in the room, and that seemed to work as a test. And then we had the guy come in. We made the panels, so it was pretty good. Hey,
yeah.
Robbie.
Yeah, hi, Rob.
Hello, 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 hello.
I was thinking about doing some soundproofing, but that should be to the back wall. You can see there, but because it's next to a toilet. But that's also a problem because the toilet is moist. So
Yeah.
I have to have a space between the isolation and the real wall, and I need some ventilation in there. So I don't know what to do. But usually I don't play loud.
Yeah.
I only do it for 10 minutes or something when I'm almost done with a song. And else I use headphones or play very low.
So you do a quick check on speakers before you're done, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Makes
use
sense.
them while I make the
Yeah.
music. I use them after. When I was younger, I did it while, but the neighbors were not too happy about that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. My week, I haven't done much. I've just been working, and at my job, they are doing in my department they are firing or letting off about 20 people, and
Wow.
it's happening next week, and we don't know anything. I don't think I will lose my job, but again, nobody knows. So I just need to get that over. So
Yeah. The mass layoffs here. You guys probably heard about it in the news, but that's .com and high tech and all kinds of shit around here. High tech, especially this area of California. Google always has mass layoffs. Cisco always has mass layoffs. All these guys always have them because they bloated. They get way too big. Things are doing well. For whatever reason, they say, "Oh, we'll just hire more people for stuff," but you clearly don't need them. If you could lay off that many, and the business is still doing okay, so they have these waves of thousands and thousands of people every year. So
yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
it's just part of the deal. You just have to know it when you do that business.
Yeah. But then if I lose my job, I have my own company to. Will I have to shut that down to get support from my what is it called? My union, or can I build that up to be enough to live off when my union won't pay me anymore after 12 months? And that's a lot of questions. But first, I of course have to find out if I'm one of those. I don't know that yet.
I hope
Hi,
you don't have
Ian.
to sell your stuff. Hey, Ian. It's no fun having to sell the gear for that stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm sure I can build it up so I can live from it. But if I have no money during 12 months, all the time it takes to build it up, then I can't build it up. Then I have to pause it till I have a job.
How about, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I think a lot of people are doing pretty well with it if they're into it. It's like Uber and stuff like that. That's kind of quick money and just using something you already have, like a car. So doesn't sound like fun, but I think it's possible.
I'd rather not have drunkards vomiting in the back of my mouth.
Well, that's
Thank you very
true.
much.
Yeah. They have a different shift, so they're not drunks.
Yeah.
My friend used to actually go to San Francisco, illegally, of course, and this is before Uber started. Take his car up there and drive around like New Year's Eve, all the different, special nights up there when people are partying like crazy, and drive around after hours and give people rides for money, just for cash. And all kinds of people, all kinds of states, but he made a killing. I mean, he does a huge wad of cash. And the cops are always, you got to watch out. They'll nail you in a second. So,
hello again.
Hey up.
Hi, Ian.
hey.
For some reason I'm struggling with chat. I can't get chat up. So sorry guys in the chat, but literally it's appeared below my screen and I just can't get the pop out thing. I wish I knew understood technology.
So just open a second window and mute it.
Yeah, I've got a second window open, but actually that's where the problem is. I can just see the top of the chart, and when I click on the 3 buttons to get the actual pop out, because it always appears at the side normally.
Yeah.
I've got no idea to put it back to the side.
Oh, you're in theater mode. Theater mode.
Okay.
Press T.
Press T.
When you're out of the chat, of course.
No, that's not done it either.
Oh, okay.
Let's just have a look at view.
Let's see.
Show side down. Nope, that's not done either.
Boom, boom, boom. Are you zoomed in or something like that? Try to press Control 0 or Alt 0.
Yeah. Close that browser down and see if that reboots it. Let's try that.
But how has your week been, Ian?
All right, really. What I've been doing.
Shipping drum logs.
Sorry?
Shipping drum logs.
Shipping drum logs to good old Kent. Yeah. So I was pleased. I was pleased that he got it.
Yeah.
Because since, obviously, can't say too much, but since my video about the dreaded mini log bass, my relationship with Korg has been slightly strained, shall we say, and we'll leave it at that, because there was a point where I was worried that they weren't going to ship it to me.
Wow.
You know, but
Yeah, honesty is not always the best policy.
no. I mean, I can honestly say that I don't think I'll be doing any Korg reviews for quite a while, but that's my choice, not theirs, because can I say this?
No, be careful. Be careful.
No, in fact, I won't say it. But I just, shall we say that it's nothing to do with the UK guys. It was, we think it was the American, but it's probably better that I don't say. But yeah, it's, you know, but it looks like we're back on track to some extent.
But until you just mentioned it, I've completely forgotten about the mini log bass. I've not seen anybody anywhere go, "Hey, look at I did this video on my new mini log bass."
Yeah.
I finally saw one in a store. Yeah, I saw one.
They're out of stock in the UK. You can't get them here.
Or as the internet interprets, discontinued.
Well,
there's something on the Modwave group today saying, "Oh, I can't believe they've discontinued the Modwave," and like, we said, no, they've not discontinued it because they're still available, you know, in other places. It seems like an American retailer thing that if they can't get stock, they just say it's discontinued.
Who was it I was talking to? It wasn't on PSN, it was one of the other shows, and somebody in America was saying that it was the Op 6. The Op 6 is discontinued.
Yeah, we've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, and it isn't discontinued because actually there's plenty of stock here in the UK.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a shortage in America, and
There was a refurb or something, right? Wasn't there
Sorry?
an issue? Wasn't there a refurb on it?
I don't know.
Some kind of
Well, there was that
recall?
reverb sale,
deal.
wasn't it?
Yeah, there was. They did they axed the price quite a bit in the States, and because I ended up contacting Korg and saying, look, my area manager, and said, look, you know, I'm hearing all this stuff about Op 6 being discontinued. Can you categorically say to me one way or the other? You know, and he said, yeah, it's not discontinued. So, I mean, you know, why would they discontinue it?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense unless you've got something that's coming along that's better, you know. And it's part of those three sins. But anyway, I actually thought thinking on that was, if there's a shortage in America, some dealers may turn around and say, "Oh, well, it's discontinued. You don't want to buy that. Well, buy this instead."
Yeah.
You know, which is a bit naughty, to be fair.
Well, they're retailers after all.
Tell me about it.
But the drum lock, have you played with it now?
No, the one that came in went straight out to Kent. So I have played with it. I played with it at Synth Fest, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I'd like to have compared it to my TRS-8, but I do think they're sort of different beasts, really. You know, but at some point, I'll probably get my hands on one to have a play with.
I lost track of it. Is it mostly just analog, or is it FM and all kinds of other stuff?
A mix.
It's a mix. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I thought it sounded great when granted I was at a show listening on headphones. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I'm not in the market for another drum machine for myself, so you know.
Yeah, I have too many already. So
Yeah. But, and I'm glad that that they said next month, and then they've managed to squeeze it into this month, which is good. You know, and I at first I thought, oh well, you know, they're obviously only going to be shipping the ones that are pre-orders, but no, they've got enough. They've got some in the warehouse. You know. And yeah, back to what you said last night on PSN, Rob. I can do a deal for anybody in the UK. I can't do a deal for anybody in Europe or the States, sadly. But and they'll get it at the same price that Kent got it, which was a bit cheaper than what everybody else is doing it at.
Cool.
If anybody's interested. Wouldn't be as quick. I'd have to get it from Korg and then get it, because Korg just refused to do drop ship, which is fine. So it would have to come into me first and then go out to them. But it delays it by a couple of days. But they're usually pretty quick off the ball with that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, my week's been good, really. Actually, it's been pretty busy, considering I'm trying to sort of do less retail work and more recording and music work. But I made the decision that this year I want to be doing more of the things that I like doing rather than things that I sort of have to do. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean the retail. There's been all sorts of stuff really going out. I've been selling guitars again. Guitars have started to pick up again.
What's the weirdest thing you sold lately?
Weirdest thing I sold,
or unusual? Or...
drumstick knitting needles. Have you heard my story about the knitting needles? Right. Okay.
No.
So I haven't done it for quite a while, but on occasion we would buy stock, has to be new stock, from auctions. And I still monitor auctions occasionally. So and this was probably about 18 months ago, and there was and it was just a box full of drumsticks. That's how it was sold. And I said to Jane, they look like really weird drumsticks. They look like almost timpani sticks. The pictures weren't great. There was absolutely no information on the auction. Anyway, we won the auction, and it was like it cost about 35 quid, all including shipping, to this box of so-called drumsticks. They turn up, and they're not drumsticks at all. They're a 12-inch wood bamboo knitting needle. Right. Yes, I could use them as drumsticks, but they're not. They've got a pointy end.
That's funny.
So we rang them up, and we rang up the auction house. Said, "Look, you've missold these. You said they were drumsticks. They're not drumsticks. They're knitting needles. Oh well, you can send them back, but it would cost us a massive box. I mean, we're talking. There's probably 500 bloody knitting needles in this box.
Oh my god!
So it was going to cost us about 30 quid to send them back, which is what we paid for them. So we're selling knitting needles. So we're selling them on eBay, and we sell probably 3 or 4 pairs a week. We're the cheapest probably in the country. People we're selling. I mean, we're selling them at, I don't know, was it 6 quid? 6 quid for a pair of knitting needles, and that's the weirdest thing that I am selling. It's got absolutely nothing to do with music, but they just
if they're light and pointy, you could play little MPC 1 pads with them.
Well, I've kept a couple to
as used by Kraftwerk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Andy, you asked about the tracks on the drum lock. I'll have to see if I can show it. I'll have to. Boom, 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 boom.
You probably can't load your own samples, right?
Yeah, but I was trying to show an image,
I'd
but
have to
You
get
can
this-
really.
this-
That's cool.
I'm not sure. Here we are. Sorry, I haven't done my research, mate.
Or not
Just haven't
sample
got
into
hands
it,
on
but like load the card or whatever. So
I can't remember actually, because like I say, it was last September, October when I even played with it, and I had forgotten.
I was trying to load an image, but it won't show. I don't know how to do. That's difficult.
I thought you could load your own samples. Just try to look it up now.
knitting needles. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I mean the weirdest, the weirdest,
That's
not
small.
weirdest instruments. What's funny is we actually do quite a lot of sort of acousticy, almost folky instruments, and probably a year ago I bought a load of brand new kalimbas, and they've sat around forever, and literally since October, we're selling loads of them. And they're at a good price, but
A little tiny one here. It's portable.
yeah, these are 70. Yeah, these are 17-note ones. They come in a case. I kept one for myself. Did a track with one at one point. Good fun, really.
Vinyl makes a cool one that has a hole at the bottom, and you can, while you're playing it, you can put it against your chest and go whoa, 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 whoa with it,
Oh wow!
and tweak the sound hole. It's very cool.
I don't know where mine is. I think mine's mine's got a hole and 3 slots
Yeah,
in the bottom
I
of
have a
it.
whole bunch of kalimbas. I have one that
Yeah.
has like a gourd thing on it. I have the portable one. I have. What I want to get is the it's not Meinl, but it's the other company, the German Schlagwerk, I think.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Schlagwerk makes this awesome bass one that you sit on like a cajon,
Cajon. Yeah.
but has these massive tongs that go boom, 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 boom,
Oh
boom.
wow.
Oh, it's so cool. And I should have bought them when they had them in Guitar Center,
Yeah.
and they got rid of them. So now I have to find one somewhere. But
Yeah. I think it's Slagworks. I've got a cajon down there, which was a kit. And
Yeah.
this must be 10 years ago, maybe longer. And it turned up, and I thought they'd have cut the holes out.
Mm.
No, it was literally just 4-bit supply.
Oh wow.
So it was a real kit. I had to buy a special circular blade
Wow.
to cut the hole out, and the hole isn't quite straight as I'd liked it. But yeah, so I built
I got one that has the this little knob you can turn the snares on and off,
yeah, this one,
which is really fun.
yeah, you can't do that with this one, and I've sold ones like that. But I did buy a hex stick with it as well, which is like a snare type thing, and that you can adjust that.
Yeah.
You know,
In fact, this I have some other accessories for the cajon around here. Somewhere, some castanets you stick on the side,
oh yeah,
little like bells and other kinds of weird stuff you can tap as a snare,
Yeah.
and an external snare you can add to it. What's really cool is Roland makes a thing called El Cajon, which has the built-in electronics.
oh wow,
But you can also buy the El Cajon box. It looks like a Volca, and you just attach the contact mic to the cajon,
yeah,
and it's basically triggers. And so while you're playing a real cajon with it, you amplify the El Cajon box next to it, and you can add all kinds of cool like stuff with reverb and other exotic sounds on top of your cajon.
that's great.
So for like a
Yeah.
busker, you could have like a little portable amp, El Cajon, the
Yeah.
cajon box, a little bit of extra percussion, and you're like a whole man band.
Yeah.
You know,
But I
Pretty
love
cool.
all stuff like that. I mean, a couple of years ago,
Wreck the studio.
my kids bought that,
Oh yeah,
which is real. I mean, they're not expensive either. Lyre harp.
yeah.
It's not tuned, obviously,
Wow.
but and it came in a bag, and it also came with a contact mic. You know,
Nice.
so it was something like, was it 60 quid, 70 quid? It wasn't that expensive. You know, but
That's
I
cool.
love all stuff like that, and you know,
Yeah.
I don't use them regularly, but every so often, you know, I can just about play a proper tune on it.
Actually, I
Okay.
should. I'm going to step away. Let me get my Marxophone out. You guys probably haven't seen that before. Hold
No.
on.
Okay. When Andy returns, I, as you saw before, I have the picture of the drum lock, so we can tell him how
Sure.
many of the tracks are digital, analog, and so on. It's easy with this picture.
And while I think on Rob,
Six analog, isn't it?
at Synth East, are you
Uh-huh.
going to the concert on the night?
Yeah. No, because I'm going to have to obviously clear away all my stuff, and I'm not leaving that in the back of the car while I
Right.
do the gig thing. So I will. And with all due respect to everyone that's involved, it's not my thing.
No.
So
So I mean, if there's a gang of us, we could go for another curry.
well, again, I don't want to leave my car with
All right. So you're going to
gear
go
in the
back
back.
home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only 30 miles away. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's just, you know, Norwich is not the centre of the criminal world, but I don't want to take the chance with
No, I'm with you on that.
with what I'm taking.
Yeah.
So
Is it Vincent's event?
yes, Robin Vincent.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it should be.
I didn't, because I only booked day tickets. I haven't bought the tickets for the. For some reason, I didn't think they were separate, but I could have bought a day ticket. But anyway, I need to talk to Jane because I am dragging Jane along. So I have said to her, look, you can come to the day thing, but you can also go off and do shopping or whatever you want.
Oh, yeah,
She
I
may
mean-
well do. You know, there's
Well,
plenty
St.
to do around.
The art centre is on St Benedict Street, which has got lots of little kind of indie shops and things, and then it's just a short walk. If you go sort of like head towards the city centre, but take a little right beside another church, because the thing is with St Benedict's, there's like 4 churches along St Benedict Street. It's only a short street. 2 of them are still active, I think, and 2 have been deconsecrated. One is the art centre, and the other one at the other end is St Gregory's, which is a massive kind of like antique fair, like a permanent antique fair, so lots of stall holders, but one central kind of paying thing, and that's I love going in there. It's the crap I come out with is unbelievable. There's a great right at the back. There's a great record cellar with loads of great vinyl. But then you're in the lanes area of Norwich, and again it's just loads of small independent shops. So yeah, she'll have a whale of a time.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a wander around on Sunday as well, and sort of stay most of the day on Sunday. So we're arriving Friday, all being well. I haven't booked the accommodation yet. In fact, I'd started to look for somewhere, but I haven't quite nailed it yet.
The nearest hotel to the event is the Premier Inn.
Yeah, they were quite dear though when I looked.
Yeah,
at them.
well, it's because it's the Premier Inn's
300
opposite
quid or
the art
something.
college, and so you get a lot of, that they can sort of, but it's slap bang next to a multi-story car park as well, so it's really good
Right.
for parking. Just trying to think what else is nearby. Did they put a travel lodge in?
There is a traveller somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's more than one, but I just wondered if or was it just flats that they put in? That might have been just flats. Every time I go back, I mean, so I'm only about 30 miles away, but every time I go back, it's like, that wasn't there the last time I was there.
Yeah, well,
They've got
I tell you what,
so
York's
much-
like that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yes.
All right,
So
you
go
guys
on,
want to see
Andy.
this crazy Marxophone?
Yeah,
thing?
let's have a look.
So this is actually an antique. This is about 100 years old now. I found about this. So if you guys know the song "Sour Times" by Portishead,
Yes.
where there's "Nobody Loves Me," all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
There's a sample in there from a Lalo Schifrin track, which is like a kind of a spy track where it's has some like classic guitar work in it, like a James Bond sound, and then this kind of bouncy thingy. And I think Orbital also used it on the box.
Right, yeah.
So basically, it looks like an auto harp. It's dusty as hell because it's ancient. And here's the sign that says Marxophone right there. So the little thing comes down, and you pick it up, and these little springy hammers are on these little metal tines here. There's also a mute here if you want to mute the thing. And basically, you play it like a keyboard. It's some of the things need to be restrung or retuned or whatever, but you get this bouncy bit.
That's this.
You can see it bouncing on the strings if I turn it
Yeah.
sideways. Anyway, so a lot of people have sampled this, and I was at I think it was a Sam Ash store in Hollywood once talking to some guy there who knows lots of shit. And we were talking about samples and weird stuff, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's just a Marxophone." I go, "What the hell is a Marxophone?" And he goes, "Oh, it's this thing, blah 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 blah." And then like on my way back, I was thinking about it a lot. And I got home, did a quick eBay search, and I found about 6 of them online. And I bought this one and another one. The other one is in better cosmetic shape, but some of the strings are broken. This one is more intact as far as all the parts stuck together, but it has some other issues with it as well. But just a fun one of those weird
Very
things is
cool.
kind of lost to history.
Yeah.
But you hear it everywhere because people have sampled it and used it in other things.
Is there an Engels-ophone anywhere? Sorry, that's a joke for us Marxists.
Yeah. I'm thinking Engels. Do you mean Engels?
Something tells me Karl Marx wouldn't like this thing.
Why? Why? He wasn't a joyless fucker. He just
I don't know.
advocated for seizing the means of production. Sorry.
He's got his head full of other stuff. He probably wasn't much into this kind of stuff, I would imagine. But But no, it's cool, and you just discover weird shit like this online, and and all kinds of other stuff too. Like this is you've probably seen these before. These little sound tubes.
Actually, no.
Little tone tube with it, kind of like the Meinl kalimba I was talking about that has the little mute thing on your chest. This has a mute hole on it for tuning kind of stuff. So they make a big blue one too that's very bassy. It's really nice. Just lots of silly shit to play with.
I know, I like all that sort of stuff. I'm into all that sort of stuff.
But auto harps are fun too.
I never played a proper auto harp. Yeah.
And of course, the omnichord is basically a
I've got an
digital
omnichord.
auto
I've got
harp.
a Q chord, which is a later one.
Right.
Which Ken needs to sort out at some point because I could only use it for like
20
minutes before it just freezes. All the chips, I think there's a chip problem. It freezes, or a power supply problem. So it's all right for the first 20 minutes, and then it doesn't do anything. But I would prefer the original omnichord because there was 2 or 3 of them. I think they're probably better than the one that I've got. Later on, you have to turn everything. You have to turn everything off because there's no switch to turn off like the accompaniment. So you have to just mute it and turn the volume down. You have to do weird stuff like that before you can start really using it.
The best ones are like the OM200, OM300 because they have MIDI.
Yeah.
The sound engine isn't the classic analog stuff that people go for when they do these kind of lo-fi jams and stuff. But the MIDI is really good on it, and you can kill all the accompaniment and stuff and just use the strum plate and play your chords, and it's a proper thing. The one problem with the Q chord one is they divided the strum plate into 3 MIDI zones, just the way the thing is designed.
I couldn't get MIDI to work on it properly.
That's what part of the reason why is because it's actually 3 MIDI channels on that strip, and the OM200, OM300 is 1 MIDI channel for the whole strip, which is what you want. So I was going to buy a Q chord because it looks kind of fun and has some decent sounds in it on its own,
Yeah.
But I really wanted it as a controller. I didn't care about what sound it made.
Did I dream this, or is there a clip on YouTube of David Bowie sat cross-legged on a stage playing "America" by Simon and Garfunkel on an omnichord?
Really?
That does ring a bell with me.
He's kind of sat cross-legged on the front of a stage with a single spotlight, and he's singing "America," which is one of the all-time greatest songs ever written.
Yeah.
And playing an omnichord.
There is something. I think you're right.
That's funny.
I think that's out there.
I know he liked the stylophone. I didn't know he played an omnichord.
Oh yeah, the stylophone's on.
They even sell the David Bowie stylophone branded on Reverb.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Well,
we always
yeah.
had Rolf Harris.
Yeah.
I've got an original one up there somewhere.
I've got one of the reissues that they did about a decade or so ago, and the drum machine, the little round drum machine.
I remember the drum machine, yeah,
which was pile of pants, but
yeah,
it was. I think I was in. Where was I? I was at HMV in London before it shut down, 363 Oxford Street, and I went right up to the top, and they were selling all sorts of rubbish up there cheap, and they had a style of the was it the S1 or something, and then the drum machine you could buy the pair for like 20 quid. So yeah, go on then.
Can't go wrong with that.
Just because my gran, right? So this in the 70s, my gran, who was this very prudish, snotty, horrible woman, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, I love her, but she's dead, long dead. She had this sideboard in what I guess was called, the dining room. And she, like all old people, if you open drawers, the contents of the drawers are astounding because they can be anything from, a bit of odd coinage and some keys to, machines and devices of some description. You have no idea what this. And her drawers in this sideboard were much the same. And you opened it up, and then sat at the back was an original stylophone, the one with the wood effect on it.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And I saw it, and I kind of knew what it was. I'd seen it advertised, and I got it out, and it still got batteries in it, and they hadn't leaked or corroded.
Wow.
The second I put the stylus on the thing, she comes not running but hobbling through. Put that away, and she wouldn't let me play it. I mean, I was like, I don't know. This was what, mid-70s, So I was probably 6-7 years old, and she wouldn't let me. Honestly, she shoved it to the back of the drawer, and when my parents split up, we went to live with her for a year, and it was still there. And she still wouldn't let me play it. Weird woman. But yeah, so I got one so that I could just literally open the drawer and take it out and play it. There you go, Grandma.
Wonder what she was holding it for, to sell someday or something.
No, she was just a stubborn old goot. That's what she was. I wasn't allowed to watch TV at certain times because of the electricity.
Wow.
When did Channel 4 launch? That must have been 82, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It had to be 82 because we were living there.
Yeah.
And I was all excited, we'd been brought up with 3 TV channels, and now we were getting a 4th one. And I remember it launched at like 5 o'clock, didn't it? It was Countdown was the first thing.
Was, yeah.
So I was back from school, and I snuck into the front room, and I turned the television on, waiting, because it was a blank screen, waiting for the opening thing of Channel 4. And just before it started, my step-granddad came in and said, if your grandma finds you with that, she'll skin you alive. I'm like, but it's like this new thing. He said, you better turn it off, son. You better turn it off. Oh, that was a horrible year in many ways, but it was a good one in others. But,
it's funny about grandparents, isn't it? Because my paternal grandmother was she was Irish, was my dad's mum, and we used to go and see her on a Sunday, and she was the scariest woman on the planet. So much so that even now, when I talk to my cousin, she always says, I just used to hate going around and see her. Yeah, Kitty. And my maternal grandmother was just wonderful.
It was the other way around for us.
She was, to be fair, I mean, my mum is still alive, but I lived with her for a couple of years while I was still at school, and she was just, both her and my grandfather was a train driver. I got on so well with them, They were just great, really.
Yeah. My paternal grandmother, the Italian one, she was just like, eat more, do this, become a priest.
Right?
Yeah. You're going to seminary. You're going to become a priest. You're going to be a member of the church and all this kind of stuff. But she was lovely, and she would just, do anything for us. And
because when my maternal grandmother used to babysit when I was quite small, and I was a little bugger like all kids, and whenever my mum and dad came home, she would always say, "Oh, Ian's been perfect. He's been lovely. Went to bed early." And I've been playing her up all night, and I always remember that. And I used to say to her when I grew up, I said, "Why didn't you dab me in?" She said, "Oh, your father would have hit you. He probably would have done actually, but But so she was always in my corner, and I miss her a lot. I still do.
Yeah.
She was great.
Talking of old grandparents, hello, Kemp.
Hey,
It's Baldy.
hello, buddy.
Mate. Cool, yeah. My grandmother was Irish. Horrible bitch. She really was.
Honestly,
Awful.
yeah. I mean, this is just.
Whereas my other grandma, my dad's mum, yeah, she was as sweet as pie. She was lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? How people can be so different in the same family.
Yeah. Now, my mum's mum, it was like, "Hey, you wee feck, you. The rigger was such a beating." All this sort of thing.
I used to hate Sunday mornings. It's the
culture, isn't it? It was
I'd get my shillelagh out on you.
Yeah.
There's something about the Irish culture that breeds these very bitter old women. I don't know what it is.
My mum says that she used to drink. Now, having said that, I only ever remember seeing her on a Sunday morning when we'd go around and she would bribe me with a comic. So I never ever saw her drunk, but I can imagine that she was probably a nasty drunk.
Isn't that just Catholicism that makes them that way?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, there was something about because when I was born, my mum was not technically married to my dad, because he was still waiting for his divorce to go through. So I took after him in many ways. And my dad's mum was like, oh yeah, you have to come and live with us and everything, until you got enough money to get a house, which was about 4p back then. And the reaction from my mum's side of the family, which is very, very, dipped in Catholicism, holy crap, to the point
Literally.
where apparently I was a very difficult birth. I was agoraphobic even before I was born. I wouldn't come out. It was like, come on. They tried chocolate and stuff like that. New synthesizer, come on. They tried all these different things. Anyway, apparently, I was told this, funny enough, after my mum died, that my mum's mother, my grandmother, came in and was trying to convince my mum during labour to terminate me. Not because it was a difficult birth or her life was in at risk or anything, but simply because she wasn't married to my dad. And go, yeah, do you know what? That kind of sums up the woman.
Yeah.
Coming with a bowl of water to drown you as soon as you popped out or something.
Yeah.
If they believe in original sin, what does it matter, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do know that my mother had to change religion before she was allowed to marry my father, because he was Catholic. She wasn't. She was Church of England, but she had to change her religion so they could get married, which just seems bonkers by today's standards.
No, it still goes on today.
Does it really?
Oh God, yeah. In Ireland, in Southern Ireland, mate.
Oh, right.
Well, I tell you what, if you go towards the West Coast more, it's mental out there still.
Oh, wow.
In pockets, it's not.
Yeah.
Dublin's more. Well, Dublin's like London now, so
Yeah.
it's like here. It's a bit more laid back and everything, but. You go out into the sticks a bit, and they're burning wicker men. They're doing the works out there, mate. So, But something about I don't know. It's just everybody's trying to be holier than thou and trying to be more holier than thou than the next door neighbour, and it's like this competition: who can be the most Catholic? In these villages, and you say, "Oh, hi" to somebody like that when it's a long time since it's been out there, obviously. But the last time I was out there, and I said hello to somebody, and they looked at me because I had this English accent, like I had serial killer written on my T-shirt or something. It was like, yeah. Hold up their crucifix. I go, I think you'll find that's vampires. So, nothing happening. There's nothing, I hear loads of stories about people, when I was living in Ireland. I go, this is my surprised face. Mm-hmm.
And my grandmothers were Catholic. My grandfathers couldn't be bothered. But one grandmother would come by with her friend once in a while, and they would compare how many candles they lit in church that day. I'm like, who gives a rat's ass?
God does.
How does that make you a better person or better Catholic or anything?
Yeah.
Get in front of the queue.
My nonna was desperate to have me become a member of the cloth. So when I turned 11 and had to go to, started off as grammar, turned into comprehensive school, she didn't want me to go to the one that all my mates went to, which was the state school. She wanted me to go to Notre Dame, which was the Catholic school in Norwich. And my mum, who was a devout atheist, my dad really didn't give he was an altar boy when he was a young person, but he saw things that he didn't want, he shouldn't have been seeing, as we well know these days. And so he wasn't, he wasn't a practicing Catholic at all. So he didn't care. But my mum said, no, if you want him to go to Catholic school, I want him to go to the Church of England school. And I just wanted to go where my mates went, which was the state schools, which was just like the Commonwealth Garden one. And there was this big kind of like pushing thing. And this was a year after my nonna I used to frequently go to Italy on my own. I don't know if they still do this now, but you used to be able to buy a ticket for a child, and you'd be chaperoned by the airline.
Yeah.
So you would be met at check-in by someone, and you'd be taken by a hostess, and you'd be looked after all the way until you got to your destination, and they hand you over to the named adult at the other end, which was always my nonna. And so in 1980, I think it was 1980, she met me at the airport, and we went off, and she had a little apartment in Turin. This was, we were going to stay there a few days before we went back up to the mountains. And one day she said, "We're going to go into the sea. We're going to go and see one of my friends." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So off we go, and we end up at the a convent. And she takes us into the convent. And I'm thinking, "Oh, she's got a friend in convent. That's interesting." And then she goes off and she's talking to one of the nuns. I don't know, what rank they were, but she then says, "I'll see you later," and off she goes. And she left me there at the convent for the whole day, where I was then taken around the place and spoken to, and they're basically trying to convert me. They were trying to embed something in me, and and then she picked me up, and she was most disappointed. I was like, "Oh, where the fuck have you been? This has been terrible. It's the most boring day. I've been reading Bibles and all this." Oh, Jesus. And when my mum found out, she went absolutely loopy. So that kind of just made me absolutely not want to do. I mean, I was, by that time, my sister had died a couple of years before then, and I'd lost all of what minuscule amount of religion I'd had. Somebody's just fallen over and died.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So that was that. So, yeah.
Let's return to the synths or drums. This one, Andy. Now I found the picture, and you asked about if it was analog or digital, and there are 4 analog tracks, and as I see it, 6 digital tracks. Are those sampling tracks, Ian? Can you remember that?
I think they are actually.
Yeah.
Kent knows,
so
he's got
those
one.
are samples.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know. I do have one, but I don't know yet. I'm still working on that.
I think there's a synth engine.
Sounds
Yeah, the presets are great.
Yeah, it's got some nice presets in it.
Yeah.
Really brilliant effects, actually. They were very, very sharp, clean reverbs, nice echoes. It's very, it's a sweet little piece of kit.
They are showing 3 multi tracks. I'm not sure it's 3. I think it's only 1 where it use the internal.
6.
Like on the XD, the Minilog XD, it has an internal oscillator which can be both drums or synths.
Yeah, there's 6 PCM stroke user samples. So
Yeah.
I guess you can swap those out for whatever you want. Really.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
1 multi-engine, which is noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
So
load
they're just
up a plug-in
stored
go.
internally, not a card or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting. I would have liked more analog things or more analog options on the samples, for example. But I don't know if you can call that.
Does it have a choice of filters?
I think it's digital.
So
For different filter models or anything?
spec doesn't say that. It doesn't say anything about filter models
No.
at all.
It's just occurred to me what lunacy is. If you needed a description, is me squinting to see the picture on the screen and the things in front of me.
One. You've got one in front of you. Exactly, yeah.
What am I doing?
Okay. How has your week been, Kent, except for the haircut?
Well, yeah, my week has been like my haircut. I've been fighting
Short.
yeah, short and prickly. Yeah, I've been fighting a Yamaha GS1 all week. which has gone from I got it working to it then decided to explode a couple of hours later, which is the way it goes sometimes, I suppose. You think you got it nailed, you put it all back together, and then it falls over. This is analog, so my week has been taken up with trying to deal with that and fending off other customers who are going, "Where's my keyboard?" I go, "Well, it's still sitting where you left it because I've been working on this thing." So lots of pissed off people barking at me all week. So today I've decided, you know what, I'm not going to work on anything. I'm going to take a day off. So I'm done.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I might do it tomorrow and the rest of the week as well. Because I'm enjoying it so far. It's a lot better than having my head stuck in a GS1, I'll tell you that.
And Rob, how's your beer?
It's gone.
Drunk.
Oh,
It was a little
that's
special
a surprise.
Hellenic beer from Greece. Yeah, well, actually,
Hypoallergenic beer.
hyperallergenic, yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm allowed on a Saturday now because I have to get up at like 4:45 on a Sunday morning to take my daughter to work. So I can't drink on a Saturday night.
There's no such thing as 4:45 on a Sunday
There,
night.
No,
That's a
there-
myth.
There is.
It
I've
doesn't
been
exist.
There, been there. Yeah. So, changed my
It's
number
it's
plates
still
on
the
the
middle
car
of
this afternoon because I'm driving to Italy in April, so I had to put this, the number plates with the UK symbol on.
You know, false ones, so you don't get arrested.
Yeah, falsies. Yeah. Got a car wash, put some diesel in it. Then went to see the mother-in-law to try and sort out her faulty telly, which isn't faulty.
Didn't think
But
it was.
She's 87 years old, and she says, it's gone all fuzzy. I'm thinking, that's your glasses, love. That's not your telly. Tried to sort her Calagas deal out. She got sent this letter because they're on a small estate, and there's no get the mains gas to the village, so they've buried a large gas tank in the middle of the estate, and Cala fill that up, and then everybody draws their gas from this large tank. So she's on a 2-year contract, and it ran out in November, and she only told me the other day. So she's now on a rolling contract, which means that she might be paying more than she needs to.
Yeah.
So I call the customer service line and says, our customer service department is open from 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, and 9 till 1 on Saturdays. So it's midday on Saturday. I think, I'll do that. And no, we're closed. Call us back on Monday, so I can't do that now. So then I came back here and watched Ramsey's show and then played a little bit with my TX816. And here we are.
Well, it still works.
Oop, hello.
Sounds very bell-like.
Really?
Get that door, please.
Oh, it's again.
You should hear the dynamics on the GS1. Holy mother.
What,
Well, when
pop
it
bang
works.
whiz?
Yeah, whiz, bomb, flame, smoke.
Okay.
Oh, we had a good show last night. That was good.
We had a
I
very
enjoyed
good
that
show
one.
last night.
Did you?
I enjoyed that one. Yeah, you were
No,
there.
it was good actually.
I was
I
there.
always miss them on Fridays.
And thanks for the
tired.
plug. And thanks for the plug, guys. That was really sweet of you.
Oh, yeah. It's more than welcome.
Well, it is electric.
Yeah.
Bum.
But,
Get it? You always say it. He takes that to the shops with him as well, you know.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have a fart machine. I have a...
What?
Oh,
Oh, what?
What a wanker.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one of those T-shirts that has a printed drum thing on it, and it'll sound box, and you can play the drums.
Yeah.
And it was a really good discussion about whether, what Jeremy's,
Yes.
that it was. I really enjoyed that. It's because we should be discussing that sort of stuff, really.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
and there was plenty of valid points, really. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my feeling is that, well, I mean, as I said, I probably won't be doing any Korg reviews while I'm still a dealer. I've made that decision because I think it, you know, they clearly think it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to lie, and I'm not
Mhm.
prepared to turn around and say that, you know, if you know I like this, and just because they want me to say that,
Yeah.
you know, so I won't be doing any of that sort of stuff, really, you know. And you know, I've only done a few sort of small. I mean, apart from the Korg ones, I bought everything myself that I've ever reviewed, apart from this, which is a in-ear monitoring system, which I was sent, and I did I quite like it actually. It works right. Although I could say that the battery lasts a couple of hours. I'd like it a bit longer, but apart from that, and there was a couple of other little things, Chinese things that I was sent, but you know, I'm not that bothered about getting into those sort of contracts with
No.
people, you know, and having to do it. You know, if I want to review something, I'll review it because I like it or I don't like it or I've got something to say about it. Hello.
Have you tried that
Sounds
Donner
like
stuff at all? The Chinese Donner products?
No.
There's like a
I haven't.
baseline one. There's a groove box one, I think. There's a couple of different ones.
Yeah,
keyboards.
I've seen them on Amazon, but
They do a
But
huge.
no, I've
I
not
mean,
really,
when I saw that, what is effectively their take on a 303, I thought, who are these people? I looked into it, and they have a massive portfolio of products, huge, like everything from, you know, kind of school instruments, you know, like xylophones and all that kind of, you know, very sort of basic stuff, right through to, you know, guitars and drums and synths now as well, and controllers.
I did a couple of mic reviews. Or it was a sort of cheap Chinese mic that they sent to me, which I think retailed about 25 quid. And I did compare it to my SM58, and he compared pretty well actually. You know, took a lot of work to do that. You know,
One of my current jobs is writing product descriptions for a microphone range. I'm not allowed to say who it is or who it's for, and they're all mics that have a USB connection. So they're all some have both USB and XLR, and some are just USB. And it's after the first two or three, it gets very difficult to write a product description about something to make it different from all the others, because they're all much, it's all much of the muches. So I'm basically saying the same thing 6 different ways. But I suppose that's what they pay me for. So
It must be difficult though if you're being paid by a company and you've got to review one of their products, because your hands are automatically tied,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
isn't it? So,
Even if you're not being paid by them, which is what he wants to, what Jeremy wants. I have been sent stuff to do reviews of, and then I think, well, if I don't like this and I say I don't like it, will I upset them? Will they continue to send me stuff to review, or will they just shut up shop? And most of the time, they don't mind what you say as long as you're honest and as long as you're factual. If you don't like the action of the keyboard, or you don't like the size of the knobs, or you don't, as long as it's based in fact, and and you're not being contentious or derogatory, you're just being honest, then they mostly don't mind. Except in my personal experience, Roland didn't like the fact that I slagged off the JP8 because they never got back in touch about anything ever again. That might be I can only assume that it was that, because they didn't say. They just stopped all communication. Because I didn't like the JP08. I still don't.
well, we seem to have this written law that if there's a product you detest, you don't like it at all, and your opinion is asked in the public domain, it's best to say, nah, it's not really my thing.
Yeah.
It's like your parents said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything.
Well,
Yeah.
there's something about that. I mean, I was sent a year subscription to an app, and what it is, it's supposed to help you make songs on this app. and the subscriptions run out now, and I never ended up doing the review because I thought, actually, I've got nothing good to say about this. And I played with it for quite a while, and I just found it. I just couldn't get on with it at all. So I thought, I'm not going to do the review. And I told him I wasn't going to do the review. It's like, when we do the Edinburgh thing, we get the tickets free. There was a couple of shows that we saw at last year's Edinburgh, which we just didn't do. We didn't do the review purely and simply because, we walked out. So it was, and we told we told the people that had sent us the tickets through the promoter. I said, look, I'm really sorry, but this show was just. We don't want to say anything particularly negative about it, so we'd rather not say anything at all. Because you have to be honest.
Yeah.
About stuff.
Exactly.
Well, it's like ACS Head saying in the chat about, how can something be improved if you can only say nice things about it or nothing? Truth of the matter is that if you did give your opinion on something, it won't change it.
No.
I've had
because that costs money, and it's like, oh, no.
I've had instances where I've been sent something ahead of release, and I'm going through it, and I think I can't do this. And that's a bit, And so if I hit a stumbling block, I will contact them and say, look, I'm trying to do X, and it's not letting me do it. And if they come back and say that's the design, that's how it's supposed to be, well, fair enough. But if they come back and say, oh no, you should be able to do that. Can you? Send a bug report in, and you actually may have well found a bug. And I've written reviews where I've seen other people do it. They say, at the time of writing this review, certain feature wasn't doing what I expected it to do, and I was a little disappointed. But on speaking to the company, they tell me that's a bug and it's being sorted. So by the time you read this review, that will have been fixed. And so you're just being honest. And I think you've got to have a bit of a two-way with the with the manufacturer or the developer or whatever it is to.
Admittedly, I was thinking more along the lines of hardware rather than software. Of course, with software, if you find a bug, definitely say something about it. Because that can be.
I've had it with hardware where something's it's clearly a firmware issue, so they've updated it.
Yeah.
Or plan to update it, but some. I mean, if you're talking about the physicality, of the thing,
exactly,
which
is where I always seem to be coming from when I'm talking about things. So, because there's people going, no, they can. If you say something, they'll change it. And of course, I'm going, what, the end cheeks? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking that. Wake up, Kent.
Well, it's ironic that music is, people are so critical of music, but devices used to make music. Oh, you can't comment on that. We're too sensitive. Don't talk about that. I'm like, well, what about the fucking music you just dissed? Get a thicker skin. I know there's a lot of money behind it, but manufacturers need to be more realistic. Just, that's why Loop Hop, he'll say up front, I got this. They have no say in what I say, but they did give this to me for the review. And so, at least from that point of view, he's able to be honest, and he's pretty honest about stuff. He'll knock certain things,
Yeah. And he puts a massive amount of work into his review.
Oh, he's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely superb, some of his.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's basically a manual.
It is. Yeah, it is.
I think that's why companies, always send him stuff, is because it kind of saves them a job. With the stuff that he creates.
Totally.
But I think, and also some manufacturers prefer some YouTubers to others, because you can see that it's quite apparent who gets what. Who when a product's embargo lifts at 5 p.m. UK or where it's 10 a.m. Pacific, and you see all the day one videos drop at that time, it's obvious who has relationships with others and who doesn't, because certain people get those, others don't. Whereas Loopop seems to get pretty much everything, because I think what he's offering is this more than just a review or a demonstration. It's like a video manual, and that's a really useful thing.
And people stole his little table of contents look, and he's very influential.
Yeah, and the overlays of the oscilloscopes, the digital oscilloscopes that he'll sort of place on screen. I've seen that copied before.
I would imagine this room though, where you could have reviewers that focus on, particular aspects. I mean, if somebody asked me to do a review on a groove box, well, I'd still be learning how to turn it on, basically, by the time we should have been doing a review. But you're going to say, can you review this new orchestral sample library? I'm going, yeah, bring it on. Yeah, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I would compare it to, depending on its price bracket, blah, 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 blah. So reviewers are going to be better at reviewing some things than others. A reviewer that whatever turns up at the front door, and they're going to have to review it. That is difficult to do. So maybe what you should do is reviewers should specialise.
I mean, as you were saying last night, the fact is that we're not doing this. We aren't doing this for the money, and they shouldn't necessarily be doing it for the money. In that sense, I mean, yes.
True, but if they want to,
they'll pay. What the hell, right? So,
yeah, I mean, if they want to do it as a proper, their job, they want to be paid for doing it. Fine, go and talk to the manufacturers. But don't start squeaking at everybody else saying, "Oh no, we should all band together and make it an industry thing." No, thank you.
No.
You off you go. You're not happy with it. Sort it out. It's your life. Got nothing to do with us.
Yeah. I mean, you take Mark Doty for instance. Once he got the job with Buchla, his kind of video content took a hit because obviously he's doing that job full time, and so now he's getting paid full time to do. As it turns out, it wasn't quite what he kind of hoped it was, I think. But now he no longer works at Buchla. He's kind of ramping up again, and you're going to see more of him. In fact, you're going to see him next week on Pro Synth Network.
Oh, good.
So
that's good.
Yeah, but you get. It's like, I don't know if you remember Venus Theory, who I'm not a massive fan of.
He
did a review of the Kodomo Essence FM. And I think he bought it himself, and he did this review, and he got a whole bunch of he clearly hadn't spent a lot of time with it. He kind of rushed it through, I think, although I think he might have counted that somehow, but and he got absolutely slated for that review, particularly in the users group on the Kodomo website. There's a big forum there, and there's somebody started a thread. And they're saying, "Oh yeah, well he got that wrong, and he clearly didn't read the manual here, and he didn't do this and he didn't do that." And then he himself popped up in the forum and kind of started to defend himself, and it all turned a little bit. Yeah.
Well, he was the reason I asked you and Manny a lot before I was going to buy one. Like, is this true? Because this guy's saying some weird stuff about this.
Yeah,
thing.
It just hadn't. I don't think he thought it through properly. I think maybe he himself possibly learned a lesson that. Maybe the synth wasn't for him, and so maybe if he didn't like it, rather than do a video about it, because I think actually, if I remember correctly, I might be saying this wrong, but when he started that video, he kind of said, I was in two minds as to whether to do this or not, but I kind of went with doing it, and so he did it, and he said, it's an incredibly powerful, capable instrument, but there are certain things about it which I don't like, and they really need to address, and they did this badly, and actually these were things that he just didn't understand how to do. They were done differently because it is a very unique instrument in many ways. But yeah, he took a real panning for that, and in a way I kind of felt sorry for him because all he was doing what he does.
There's also the famous MPC Keys thing with Ben Jordan and Av McCree and all that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Do you know what?
Back and forth.
Yeah, I like Ben Jordan stuff, actually.
I like Ben, yeah.
But
Ave McCree, right? He did this.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I don't know what his background is or what his credentials are or anything. But he did a real hatchet job on the sample trek.
Yeah.
Literally just came out, and he did this real.
I remember that, yeah.
And he did himself no favors. with
He's an MPC fanboy. If it doesn't match MPC in any way, he doesn't like it.
Exactly.
So,
and
talk about shill.
I was sat there ready to type. It's not a fucking NPC.
Yeah.
So stop expecting it to be one. It's its own thing. And then somebody last week posted in the Liven Facebook group. Oh, I'd love Ave McCree to do a review of the Lo-Fi 12. And I just put a GIF underneath that said, "Yeah, but nah." And they all piled on me. Oh, why don't you like? Oh, Jesus! Just take a look at his video for crying out loud. Yeah. So, like I say, I think actually I did see him do a video on the Lo-Fi 12, and I think he kind of liked that. But yeah, a lot of people doing some really good stuff on that. It's a very, very useful little thing.
Wouldn't it be great if Behringer made a echo chamber machine so that you could say, "Oh, it doesn't echo the sound; it just clones it."
Yeah. They should come up with a copycat, shouldn't they? That would be the one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly, the copycat. I used to love I owned a couple of copycats. I wish I'd never sold them. They were great.
I used to
Great
play in a
fun.
band where the guitarist had was it a Watkins copycat? With a little tape.
Watkins
Oh, you had a
copycat,
what?
yeah.
I had a Wem.
Yeah.
I think it was a Wem one.
Yeah.
That we had.
Well, Wem is Watkins.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Watkins music.
Watkins, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is. Yeah.
Because our one had a wonky spindle, so every now and again it just
Yes.
went,
Yeah.
"Woo,"
Yeah.
like this.
I used to just love watching the tape loop going round and
Yeah.
thinking, why doesn't it get tangled up? I can see it
I know.
spinning. How is it? It's magic. It's witchcraft, but it sounds great on these
I did my
guitars.
first sampling on
Yeah.
on a Watkins. So created a loop, a tape loop, recorded some. I think it was the beginning of Johnny Remember Me, which is the wind sounds, and then put that into the Watkins, just on playback, and it was great work, great.
It's like every time I worked on an RE201, I used to be playing Joe 90 in my head, and I couldn't remember why. And then I remember in the opening credits, it had all the tape
Oh yeah.
on Big Rat going around. I go, okay, I am mental then. Yeah. I'm nuts.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
We're here.
Well, I was
Another
working
tricky
on
thing
that-
about the review stuff, though, is these guys get pre-release stuff a lot,
Yeah.
and they have to assume, and then like Nick will say that, other guys will say it, Lou Pop will say it, and other people like, this is what I'm seeing now. I'm not knocking this. I wish it would have this feature, but this is a pre-release unit, so it probably will be coming your way, et cetera, et cetera. So that puts a lot of pressure on them,
Yeah,
to-
I mean, when I reviewed the Korg 700 FS, it was the prototype, so none of the software that ended up in the final thing was it. I mean, actually, Korg couldn't even tell me about it at that point because I said, "Is there anything else to do with this?" And I went, "No, not yet." And so my review was crap by what Jamie did with it, because Jamie had the production one, and was able to go into all the extras, which I have to say was slightly irritating at the time, but I'm blaming Korg for that.
Well, there's a certain percentage, obviously, must be, where what makes the review is the reviewer. Because because we have you go, oh yeah, I watch what Jamie says about things, or I watch what Robbie will say about things and stuff like that. And it's down to the characters, it's down to the reviewers as well, to a certain degree. Because there are some reviewers, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some people where I just go, I don't care how good that review is, I'm not watching that bloke. His voice makes me want to just, it's like cat nails going down glass.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's okay.
Howdy doody, buckaroo.
So there will be, reviewers that I won't go near, who, regardless of what it is that they're reviewing.
Well, Buckaroony actually has a nice voice. He's a radio voice, but
Definitely got a voice for radio.
yeah.
Mm. Or got a face for radio, whichever way you want. But yeah, so yeah, obviously the reviewer must play a part in this, whether it's subconsciously or not.
I have to
I
say,
think probably old Noah should probably do a review show.
I'm not that fond of Bo Beats, personally. Nothing against the guy, but I don't tend to watch his content anymore.
Somebody referred to me the other week as the Swedish Kermit, and I cannot listen to it any other way now.
It's like Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Actually, we've got a guy at work who clearly comes from New England and sounds exactly like Kermit the Frog, and I have to mute myself because I'm always sniggering. There's him, and there's another guy from Austria who sounds exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Really?
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it's so close to yeah. And my boss actually she comes from Prague. She sounds like Martina Navratilova.
Oh wow.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be brilliant if he dressed up like him as well and did the reviews.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah, then I'd watch it as well.
on the teen Christmas call. Yeah.
It's a shame when Jim Henson died and those terrible imitations of that voice. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like when Mel Blanc died. Just can't do it. You know, it's not the same.
Right, guys, I got to go because I've got a Zoom call for the Max MSP meeting in about 15 minutes. So, you're on tonight, Ken? Kent?
Apparently,
Well,
round about
see you-
7ish.
I'll see you 7, right? Okay, I'll see you in the pub then. I'll
Yep.
be a bit later than that, but it'll be after me tea.
I'll leave you a bit
come
on the
along to
bar,
pub.
mate.
So thanks for hosting, Heinrich, and
Yeah.
and I'll see all you guys later.
So yeah.
Alright.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye,
Bye.
Ian.
Bye.
Yeah, mate.
All right.
I will say about Bob Eads, I don't mislike him. I like him, but he's another genre than mine. That's how I would say it. He's okay for some types of synth users or beginners, but yeah, he may be too positive about things, but
Kind of schmaltzy, right?
Every reviewer has their shtick. They have their style, and they will appeal to some people. They won't appeal to everybody, and that's fine because, some people watch Top Gear, some people prefer the Grand Tour, some people like this, some people like that, and that's fine. There should be lots of different people. I really don't like bad gear. Okay. Lots of reasons why I don't like it, but it's not a personal thing. It's not like, oh God, Florian Pils is an awful human being. It's not that. It's just like, it doesn't speak to me. It's not my generation. It's
kind of
and
Zoomer. Yeah, it's kind of Zoomer style.
Yeah. So it's not made for me. So if I don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah,
I just don't watch it.
we're a group of old men, and that's how it is.
Pro Synth Network is for the geriatrics.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Longhurst Funeral Directors.
Get the bottle of Geritol out.
Made by old people for old people.
Old people.
Yeah.
No, I mean we don't even try to appeal to a particular audience. We just do what we do. If you like it, great, watch us. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch us, and you don't have to, you don't have to say anything bad about us. But you can. But it's just like I won't say anything bad. I mean, I just don't particularly like those style of videos that Florian does. I'm sure he's a lovely, lovely bloke. But it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah.
The one thing about Bo, if a certain piece of gear I either have or want to get, I will often watch, and he'll actually have some cool little tips and tricks in there that no one else picked up on, or might be a pain in the ass to find in the manual. So you can glean stuff from his reviews, even if you may not like the delivery and the environment and stuff. But I've actually had some valuable stuff come out of his reviews.
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone does. Hopefully we all give something of value to our viewers. The fact that people come and watch us all, whatever channel you might be doing, over and over and over again, means that we must be doing something right for someone, and that's all we really care about. We're not in it to make a living. God help us, that'd be.
Starved by now.
Yeah, we'd be dead. But
Well, said we were old.
Well, I know some guys have high YouTube counts and they don't make anything off of it, like $600 a year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we make. It all depends. It depends on who's donated and how much ad revenue you get. to £200 a month is a good month for us, and that just gets ploughed back into the channel. We get, we buy the cameras and the lighting, or the and the licenses for the software and stuff, because that doesn't come cheap. We just bought loop back for Ben. That's another £100. So it all goes back into
I
the
had to buy
channel.
my own.
We offer. It's there.
This free
Yeah,
stuff that does
I know,
loop back.
You keep
Do free
offering, I
stuff
keep
too.
turning it down.
There is free
No,
stuff
it's
that
all
does
right,
loop
it's
back,
all right,
but
I'll pay
loop
for
back is just, it works kind of just like out of the box. It's Kent proof almost.
Almost. Nothing is. Nothing is. Even a
but
house
no,
brick
no.
I could break.
But we couldn't. Even if I did this on my own, I couldn't make a living off of that. But then I'm not investing the amounts of time and effort that some of those guys are, and they do invest an incredible amount of time and effort because they're very professional. They have multiple expensive cameras and lighting, and all the gadgets and all the hardware and the software and the nous and the production skills and the voice, and there's a lot that goes into it. And we just don't have the time because we've not given up our day jobs because we can't afford to. So as much as we'd love to do, slickly produced, regular content, we just don't have the time.
Yeah, it was like the Rolly videos I was going to do. I will get round to it, honest. Yeah.
But we don't, it's just like, we don't expect it because we know that everyone's got, their own. I've got a family of 4 to feed, and I'm not going to do it off our YouTube earnings. I can't even feed myself off of that. So,
Yeah.
and that must be a precarious thing to be in, because YouTube can just turn around, or Google, should I say, turn around and change their terms and conditions at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, your revenue stream drops because you're not complying with this or you're not doing that. Yeah, so you're kind of at the mercy of those people.
Plus, a
No,
lot of the big YouTube channels, they have like a whole team. I mean, but Alex Ball does it all by himself, right?
He does.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I was at a show once a few years ago, pre-COVID times, and some guy comes up and he's filming stuff, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but he's filming because I was working on the IK multimedia stand. And he, after a short while of talking to him, he works for Dr. Mix. And I thought, I thought Dr. Mix did it all himself. No. Dr. Mix has a team.
Yeah.
But then Dr. Mix is, again, here's someone who I don't always watch because I'm not,
Yeah.
He's
Well,
sometimes
it's like
a little-
Florian. Florian clearly has a team as well. No one does all that crazy editing and meme stuff all by themselves. It's just
I
too much
honestly
work.
don't know. Honestly don't know.
There's no way. Because I was on his Patreon for a while, and people were talking about that stuff. It was interesting. So
So no, there's the more you look into it, the more you think, oh, that's why they're so good.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they, because like I said, they've either got a team of people or they have literally given up their day jobs and hoped for the best. And I think one of the things that does annoy me the most is when it clearly isn't working out for them, and then they make content about how woe is me kind of thing, and I'm like, well, I feel for you, but I don't watch your channel to hear you complain about how difficult it is to run your channel. I'm sure it is, and I'm sure you'll work it out, but I don't want to hear about it. That's not what I'm here to, So things like that. That's how I approached that video from Jeremy. I thought, oh God, here we go. Oh, shut up. I don't want to watch a video of somebody complaining about how difficult it is to do what they do. But then when I watched it all the way through, actually, there was more substance to it, and I kind of, got on board with. Certainly understood where he was coming from, but there you go.
yeah, if you watch the old Bo videos when he was just kind of doing it for fun, they're very different tone, very different type of videos, and you could clearly tell when he became full-time YouTube.
Yeah, as you can with some other channels as well, same sort of thing.
But I actually preferred Bo's older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can tell, I'm a huge fan and supporter of Nick at Sonic State, but you can tell when he went from the weekly show being just like irreverent kind of stuff like we do in Preston, you can tell when he switched over to I've got to, the content's got to be good. Got to be well behaved, no bad language, because we're advertising things on here now. So you could tell when that switch happened.
Well, I remember the old days when it was just a podcast and no video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
So we had that challenge when Kent did his little Sonic cake thing.
Yes. Good
It's funny.
days.
I mean, like I said last night, a few people have said to me, "Oh no, you should monetize the pub." And I'm going, no, that would be horrible.
Yeah, don't put a spotlight on that. That's
Yeah, exactly. Because if you monetize a channel, there's a responsibility that will come with that.
yeah. Plus,
And-
YouTube has new rules now. If you say fuck in the first minute, you're
Yep.
you're totally screwed.
Yeah, I mean, the pub would be off the air within, 3-4 seconds? It'd be gone. And you go, let's say fuck. Really, that's not the worst word we say on that show.
No.
By a long shot.
Well, it's like Piero the Acid Clown. If you ever watch his stuff, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's saying cunt left and right and all
Yeah,
kinds
yeah,
of,
yeah, exactly. And that was the whole point of it, was to have a place where
Fun.
people can meet and just talk freely without having to worry about what they're saying. As long as it's light-hearted, you can't have, guys coming on with, little tash and all this big stuff. No, mate, sorry. Move on. There's other channels for you. Yeah. But, just being sort of laid back. Besides, I mean, when Ty comes on,
yeah.
if that was monetized, you'd go, oh, that's gone.
Yeah.
Never mind. So, but
Well, it'd be funny to see with his employers what they've seen him on the stream.
they wouldn't care. They're pretty much like
No,
him,
they
to be
probably don't
honest.
care. It's just
no,
kinda
no, not at all. They just want those tracks on time.
Yeah.
What he does in his own time.
Yeah, but you do have to be careful what you say, as I found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've managed to put my size 9s in my gob on many occasions. But whether you watch what you say or not, you'd still end up, upsetting or offending somebody somewhere down the line. So it's kind of, might as well just enjoy life. Why bother being too careful about stuff? Just make it funny and light-hearted. Don't take anything too seriously. Because life is hard enough, guys.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So, it's a bit of escapism for people, I must admit.
Yeah.
Although, annoyingly, I get a lot of private messages from people saying, "Oh, when's Fiona going to do her quiz? That's the best bit." Really? Thank you. Thank you very much. Where's my toilet paper?
That's right. You need that little.
Yeah, I need my little toilet paper earrings so I can wipe myself, but I'm offended.
I quite like that one.
Yeah, I like that one. But although the first one,
Yeah.
with what's his face coming through the window? Yeah,
Ralph.
Ralph through the window.
There you go. He's got toilet paper.
I eat bugs.
Super Nintendo Chalmers. Oh dear.
Besides, I think Hans, the cardboard cutout Hans, is more famous
Yeah.
on this show than anything else. God, can't wait to see cardboard hands again. Oh, really? Yeah, you can come over here and stand here.
Now we covered Bobby's.
Who should we
What
slag off
about,
next?
Yeah. who's next on the target list?
Yeah, I was thinking, what about, what's his name? He has a big hair, a big beard, and a mirror.
Cuckoo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he is, but he's also expensive if you want to follow him.
Yeah. Well,
He's
he's also a manual guy. You watch his stuff, you learn all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There's something about him that is very unique, and I think the first time, because I was blissfully unaware until he did a DX1 thing, and somebody said, "Oh, there's
Yeah.
a video on YouTube about the DX1."
The
by this
studio in
guy called-"
Australia he went to. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I thought, okay, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, he's just kind of dicking around with it, and it didn't fill me with, but it was his character that I thought, I'm not entirely sure whether it's endearing or annoying, because it seems to be, and I mean this completely with respect.
He's an odd guy, but it's
he seems to be straddling that line, and actually, if you, as I've watched more and more of his stuff, it is. I mean, I was just like, shaving mirror, what the hell? But
now everyone's
that's
copying
kind of-
that too. I see that a lot
but
now.
it's clever. It was clever, without the need for special trickery of multiple cameras. What a clever thing to do, and it's now become a part of his shtick. And yeah, now I can watch his stuff. I mean, the video he did on the sample trek was brilliant. It was really, really good. So yeah, I think again, we come back to this thing that all of these synthfluencers, for want of a better phrase, have their characters, and therefore they will appeal to a section of the audience, and that's great. That's all they want to do. So
Cuckoo used to put up foam letters
yes,
as well. He would spell it OP1 and cuckoo.
yeah. And also, I think I don't know if he's behind it, but there seems to be a trend that I'm seeing much more of now, that people do like overhead shots, and maybe they're doing an overhead shot of a groove box, and then there's little objects around this thing. They have
Little toys and plants and stuff.
that have nothing to do with anything at all, but they're just there filling
Ricky
the gaps.
Tinez does that a lot. He puts little
Yeah.
toys out and plants and stuff.
I've noticed that a bit with people. There seems to be sort of catching on a lot more, and for a
Jeremy
while,
too. Jeremy's big on the objects. He puts
yeah, and
objects
I
in
was
the
just like,
camera.
why do you do this? But then I'm thinking, well, if it wasn't there, it would just be blank space. So it does kind of make it visually interesting in a way, which is,
It's fun.
got to have those succulents in the shots, his Wagyu.
But Cuckoo, like for the Electron stuff, if you ever try to use Electron stuff, it's a real slog if you don't know stuff very well or haven't spent a lot of time on it. He demystified that stuff very easily in those videos.
Mm-hmm.
And the OP1, OPZ, all that stuff. So he made it so easy to use those things. So I haven't done his Patreon, but I probably should, because he's helped me a lot. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, let's say if you get one piece of equipment come out and 6 people review it, but 2 of them really, unlock it for you, and you'll find that another 2 will unlock it for somebody else, in terms of the best.
and his Osmos video was super cool, because he's like all excited about how delicate you can touch it, and he gets all crazy into it, and it was fun. Fun to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a genius, and I would like to play one thing which defines that. I hope I can. Let's see. There.
Not seeing anything. Oh, there it is.
Oh, haven't seen that one.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Can't really hear it though.
That's funny.
Can't hear anything.
All the moves down.
You
I will
can't
check
hear
it
it?
out. No.
It sounds like a transistor radio in the background, little tinny.
Sounds like your microphone
Oh.
is picking up, coming through your headphones.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, but
But we get it.
find
We
the
understand. It
beat.
looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. Find the Beat It Cuckoo remix. It's great. So
That's very clever. Very clever.
yeah.
But the thing is, somebody like Alex Ball does that with every video that he does. Something that's quirky, and that's why I love Alex's stuff so much. And the fact that he is a genuinely wonderful human being, outside of all of that stuff, is I hate him. He's so good. I actually made his day because when I did when I wrote the review for the Bukes Inspired the Music Roland 50th book, and I listed some of the contributors, and I just put the sickeningly talented Alex Ball. And he was like, immediate badge of honor. He shared it on his face. It's official. But yes, no, I love, because he tells a story, he researches it well, he gets it spot on, but he peppers it with brilliant demonstrations that are all completely original, all his own work, never repeats himself.
Like the Ferris Bueller stuff and the Emulator 2.
So clever. And then when he does a long form one, it's just so epic. I'd say the first
Terminator
time
one is my favorite. That Terminator.
Yeah, well, that was the first one. That's the first time I ever became aware of Alex Ball, was when somebody again said to me, "Rob, you want to check this Fairlight video out?" And I was like, "Oh God, damn, he's so good. How did he? Oh, that's just I should."
He hired that Arnold impersonator. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and he actually spoke to Brad as well and got some quotes from him, and he really goes to town. But then he's a professional. He's in advertising. He's just too fucking talented. Hate him.
But it's so good to see someone who's like that, who is talented, getting accolades, and not these assholes out there who aren't talented are getting accolades.
Quite.
So.
But then you see some people have got. I don't know how many subscribers Alex has got. It's a lot. But there are people out there with way more that do way worse stuff. And, But again, some people. There are probably people out there who, remarkably, probably don't like what Alex Ball does, and that's fine.
They're just.
I
jealous.
haven't met any.
I haven't met anyone.
No.
Okay. We also have Rancy.
Oh, Randy's a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ramsey does what Ramsey does, and he's never changed, and he's original, or shall I say, he's genuine, And if I would compare us on Pro Synth Network to any other channel out there, I would say we're more like Ramsey, because we're not doing it for a living. It's not part of our job. It's not something we have to do. It's something we want to do. And we have a regular following, and that's I would say that we're closer to Ramsey than anyone else. And he's a nice guy as well. He's a really nice guy. Does some great stuff.
Rand sent me 2 packets of Tim Tam biscuits, and it cost $48.
So you love him.
The guy is a delicious man. There's no two ways about it, and I want to marry him. Anybody that sends me Tim Tams, mate, I'm there.
I actually learned stuff from Ramsey before I knew about his podcast. I watched some of his old videos and learned cool stuff about the JDXI and other things. So,
Yeah, he does buckets of research on everything that he talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he knows what he talks about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen people do reviews on. I can't remember who it was now, but there was a guy did a review on the CS80. But not a review, sort of like an exploration of the CS80, and I just spent 25 minutes screaming at the iPad. No, wrong, ah! All this business. That's a cliche. Oh, not that bloody folklore again. No, I'm giving it all this. And somebody said, "Well, do your own then." No. No, don't worry about it. Then shut the fuck up. Oh, okay. Look at the amount of people that watch that video of me tuning one. You never know what sort of video will do well. There's somebody today on Facebook talking about there's a video that somebody put up of sine wave.
Yeah, David
for
Bassett.
10 hours. Yeah.
10-hour sine wave.
10-hour sine wave. How
Over 1
many
million views.
millions? Yeah.
Yeah.
You go, I could have done that. It's easy enough. To what ends, I don't know.
But you're also demoing something that's pretty rare, and people like the sound of it. So it's going to be popular no matter what.
Yeah, but it's that tuning video is just an hour of high pitched drones.
But you have it open. Don't you have it open too, and you can see the content? So that's fun. You know,
Yeah, I guess so. But you wouldn't
Yes.
have to listen to this high-pitched whine going on in the background. Instead, well, I suppose you could mute it. I suppose. But I must admit that when I play it at the end to show that it's all nicely in tune now, God, when you look at the analytics, the repeat on that bit, proper CS80. Whoa, let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. It just goes. The scale goes whoosh, up, that disappears
Yeah.
off the top of the bloody chart.
I mean, just think how many people watch Badger, Badger, Mushroom, Mushroom. So yeah.
Don't diss Weeble.
Yeah, it's a classic, my friend.
It is.
He's a heavy Reason user.
Yeah.
Yep. All of that music, Badger and Come to Kenya, all of that stuff.
Look at
he
My
does all-
Horse. It's a classic.
Yes.
It's up there with Bohemian Rhapsody, in my opinion.
All made on Reason.
Yeah, excellent
That's
stuff.
funny.
Used to love using Reason.
Yeah, I used to, but I hardly touch it now.
Yeah, well.
What about Procent Network? I like him.
Pile of shit.
Bunch of tossers. Really are. They don't know what they're talking about.
What a wanker,
Smell.
right?
Yeah. They smell.
What a wanker.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Awful haircuts.
Terrible.
And
Terrible.
rubbish
stuff.
shorts. Ugh. Showing off people's legs all the time like that. I don't know.
I know.
Dirty tart. Yeah. But other than that,
Actually,
they're all right, you know.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking of something else, and I
What, lending
just
them money?
said the wrong name. I was thinking of what? Jamie. Jamie.
Geosynths.
Geo.
Yeah. What do you think about him? He's never been on here. I would like to get him on.
He's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's a good
Yeah.
lad, and he's very good at what he does, and the channel's clearly there to support that. And every now and again, he'll
patches are great.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
and he does some great events.
Yeah, I mean the EMOM stuff that he's doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's important for the society. So
the first time I met him was when he filmed my Fairlight seminar at Synth Fest. So he does all of that as well. So he's very amiable and very helpful. So yeah.
Mind you, I'm really looking forward to Dom being back on again, so I don't
Mm.
feel so bad about my haircut.
You were just
Yeah.
trying to be Dom, weren't you? That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I had a Dom done.
You might have to shave it off in tribute.
Yeah. I have a Dom dome.
Dom Dome.
He's still, he's umming and ahhing still about releasing all that video that he took of my garage, the inside of the
Oh
garage.
God, yeah.
Not many people have seen the inside of that garage.
I don't think I've seen the inside of that garage.
I don't think you did. No, not what you did. It was all a bit DX1-y, wasn't it?
It was, but no.
Yeah.
Even when Ben and I came round that first time, and we
Mm.
had the tour of the sheds before the sheds were no more.
Mm.
You know, with the wave slowly rotting in the corner.
Yeah.
But we didn't make it down to the garage.
No, I didn't make it down to the garage. Well, it was a horrible,
Actually-
wet, cold day, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I need to come and see you. I've got to kill two birds with one stone. A friend of mine's an artist, and she's selling off. Well, not selling off. She's giving away a whole bunch of her paintings that are just sitting around in her loft. So she lives in Maidenhead, which is it's not nearby, but it's a lot closer to you than it is to me. So I think maybe I'll kill two birds with one stone. So I'm thinking about breaking something and then bringing it to you for repair.
Oh, okay. We'll break something easy and small.
Actually, my MIDI port on my KX88 is a little bit flaky. That needs
I was
resolving.
going to say
like-
your penis. That's easy and small. Ooh.
Oh.
I must get that button. Oh, no, not that button. Sounds like my last gig.
oh, you can't find the knob.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean the crickets didn't pay to get in either?
There must be something I need sorting out.
Just have to use the
I'm
code
saying
word
nothing.
joystick. My joystick is not behaving correctly.
Yeah.
Same thing, isn't it?
It's tea time soon.
Already?
It's quarter
It's
past
just begun.
4. I think we're having chippy tea tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, chippy tea. Chippy tea is fish and chips from the chip shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Proper fish and chips.
Wrapped in newspaper?
No. Well, they wrap it in this paper that's kind of the same paper that newspapers printed on, but it doesn't have any print on it. That's you don't really see that anymore, do you?
No, you can't read the back of your fish anymore now, can you?
Or you can't wrap it in an online paper. It's
Yeah,
difficult.
well, true. Yeah.
Mm.
We used to have a place here, it was H Salt Fish and Chips.
Mm.
Dot salt, and it was kind of considered proper fish and chips, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think that nearly all of the fish and chip shops in Surrey have been taken over by Chinese families.
Yeah. They do
And
that. Seriously.
The
Chinese
chips
fish and
got a
chips.
lot better.
Yeah.
Do you still serve those burgers, which is boiled in oil? I remember I was in Scotland when I was 14, and I
Oh.
got
What
no.
are they called? Yeah, I know what you mean.
They boil
Yeah.
everything in oil in Scotland.
Scotland, they'll deep fry anything.
Even
But
There was
they
a
will
name for
so-
those
They
burgers, wasn't there?
tasted good. I
Fried
like
burger,
it.
huh?
You can
There
even
was
get
a-
your ice cream boiled in
Oh,
oil,
what are
can't
they
you?
called? They used to serve them to us at school in the 70s, and they had a name, and it was like they were deep fried. They just obviously quick. They just stick it in there, give
Yeah.
that to the kids. That'll keep them going till
Is it breaded and deep fried or just deep fried?
all
And
depends
Yeah, the yeah.
with batter.
What do you call it when it's fluid?
Batter.
Yeah.
Batter, yeah.
Oh, so that's like a Middle Eastern kubi.
Okay.
Fritters.
Yeah,
You like the fritters?
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love spam fritters.
Yeah.
Anybody would think I was born in the war.
Yeah, you go to Scotland though, they will do you deep fried anything. Mars bar,
Yeah.
pizza.
I've had one.
Pasties are always baked, right? You don't have the fried pasties, right?
What, fried pizza? Deep fried pizza?
No, pasties, or pasties.
Oh,
whatever you call them,
pasties.
Yeah.
are they fried or are they always baked?
A proper
You can have
pasties
either.
always- Yeah.
You can
If
have
you go
it
to
in
Scotland, you can have
though.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll stick it in a pigskin and call it a haggis.
Yeah.
Oh, I tasted that.
Oh, haggis is nice.
Mate, you could go into Curry's in Glasgow and go, like an iPad, please. Go, do you want that fried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you know that that's where tikka masala was invented? Glasgow. It's not an Indian dish at all.
No.
Really?
Yep. It was invented in Glasgow. You go to
Actually,
India and ask for a tikka masala, they'll go,
You'll go, eh?
Looks like chicken teriyaki. That's not real Japanese.
no.
Russian Earl Grey.
Yeah.
It's not Russian.
It's not Earl Grey.
Yeah.
No.
It's not
Polonium.
Yeah. Crackly green tea. Mmm.
Glue in the dark.
Do they still serve black puddings here and there, or is that kind of rare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Proper black pudding. My
Oh,
wife
icky
hates them. I
thump.
love them. Yeah, icky thump.
Was it the
Yeah.
giant flat caps going around
That's it.
beating up old ladies with the black puddings?
With a giant black pudding.
Was it the goodies, wasn't it? Icky thump.
Yeah, that's where I, whenever I go to a hotel, it's about the only time I can get a decent black pudding or a bad black pudding, because my wife hates them. She hates cooking them, but it is nice, gorgeous things.
Yeah, Fiona hates cooking mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So I go, okay, I'll cook the mushrooms.
For the first time, I tried to stream this on Facebook too, and I had a question there earlier from a girl called Jeannie, who hosts some events here in Denmark. She's hosting an event in a few months with Front 242 and One, and she needs some synthesizers for on stage. Now I know you know nothing about Denmark, but do you have services who rent out synthesizers in Britain?
Yeah.
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 Hammond Hire,
Hammond Hire. What's the
old Tiny Edwards.
backline? Backline?
Backline, yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay,
do. Well, they do
so
all
you have
sorts.
many.
Yeah, there'll be
Yeah.
places.
But they tend to do, I mean, Hammond Hire tend to do rather high-end specialist stuff, so, you know.
Well, doesn't Rich have everything rented? He doesn't travel with
Yeah,
Synths, right?
Rich
Yes,
rents
yeah.
everything.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, then it should be possible to find some in Denmark. Some companies
I
who
would have thought so.
rent it out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a few shops actually still do that.
Yeah,
as
there are
well,
not
don't they?
many shops. It's small shops, most of those
Mm.
who are here. The big ones got bought up and made into a chain, and it was from a Norwegian company, and then they
Mm.
got bankrupt and everything died. It was all the big shops that died there. It was so sad. Yes. Have you made any new jams, Andy?
Oh, every week we have our hardware jams thingy. And if I have, lately that's all I'm doing, just too much work and other crap and playing with the new drums and other tech stuff. So it's just, if I have an inkling to try a piece of gear I haven't used for a while or a new piece of gear, then I may make something with this SP202 since I just got it. But yeah, you never know. Have to be in the
Mm.
mood.
You played in one of your videos on that hand drum, or what it's called.
Oh, the ATV A-frame? Yeah. Most
Yeah,
expressive hand
possibly.
drum ever made. It's crazy. It's
Mm.
Roland Kakahashi founded the company when he left Roland, and he and his son were running it. Now, since he's died, the son is basically running it, I think. And his son's actually a really good percussionist. If you go to the Sweetwater channel, they have a demo of the son playing it with some other rep guy, so you can see how far you can actually go with that thing. I'm still a beginner on it, but it's incredibly amazing. You know, DSP. It's the only percussion thing I've ever played, or even controller thing I've ever played, where you have dynamic effects. So in that one track I sent you, you can see that as I'm pushing on the membrane, I'm actually muting the reverb as well as the tone. And you let off and the reverb keeps firing. So you can do this dynamic pressure to turn effects on and off, or the opposite, you know, that just push on for off or push on for on. And just adds a whole new dimension to any kind of percussion or even synthy sounds, because it's just super, super expressive.
Yeah, it sounded great, but is that the sound of the device, or is it a synthesized sound?
It's all self-contained. There's no MIDI. It's just a DSP circuits on board and 2 contact mics to feed the DSP. And the contact mics can also be sent through as well. But since the membrane is meant to be really durable, it's not a typical drum head. It's very thick polycarbonate that's textured. So it'll take your overall pressure over and over again and not get all beat up. And it has texture, so you can scrape with your fingernails to add metallic-y tones and other kinds of scrapey sounds. So when you play this sound out directly off the contact mics, it's kind of dead sounding because it's not really a proper acoustic drum. It's all meant to drive the circuit. But you can knock on the frame, you can knock on the membrane or push on the membrane. It has multiple zones, so you push in the middle, you can get more of a bassy tone, or press in the middle. Sometimes it gives you more of the effect that you want. There's a whole control panel. When you flip it behind you, you have this whole control panel, all these buttons and screen, and you can sit there and just edit the crap out of it. There's a computer editor too, if you want to get presets and share presets with people. But it's pretty deep. They're like 4 or 5 layers of audio plus the effects. So each preset is completely nuts. Just Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of fun.
Uh,
Korg Wave Drum
Um,
is also excellent, but it's not as good. I don't think it's just very different.
Okay, great to hear. It sounds very interesting. Now that I know more about it than
I also
only what
modified
saw.
it too. Those little clackers on the side are also things you put on a cajon. These little like plastic clacker things, and they're cool too because they give it a sharper sound, and the contact mic picks them up. So you can go tick, 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 and it will transmit through the system.
Yeah,
So
nice. Kent,
Hello.
hello.
Good afternoon.
I've before the Mini Freak, there was the Micro Freak, and it has the old keypad, which is like a circuit board. What is, I have some experiences with those kind of keyboards. What is your experience with those keyboards?
I'm trying to remember now. I think
I think of the copper when it gets old and it's
yeah,
not a
I
good
mean,
surface.
they're pretty much like the keyboards that they were using in the Poly 6 and stuff like that. The copper part of it isn't too bad, really. You have to clean up. It's it's the rubber key contacts that sit under the keys that was where all the trouble lies. You have to re-graphite them, and then they work beautifully again.
Yeah.
Because
But the keyboard on the Mini Freak, it's like a printed circuit board. So I'm thinking 20 years from now, how many of them will still work?
I'll tell you in 20 years.
yes, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, but I remember when I started with electronics, I tried to build my own keyboard, and it was a circuit a printed circuit board, and it was terrible. And after a year, it was all green and nothing worked. Of course, it's better protected today, I think, but I remember how it turned out. So I fear I fear how the Micro Freak will look in 20 years from now.
well, look at the
Yeah.
Buchla touch keyboards from the 70s. I mean, they're still going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if all else fails, there's always Duraglit to bring it back.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mind you, for me, in 20 years, it won't matter.
Yeah, yes, the same here.
It won't be my concern. I think concern in 20 years would be getting to the toilet without breaking a leg.
Yeah,
I think that's my priorities. Yeah.
yeah, and the advantage of that is we can play any keyboard and just think it's something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we can buy the cheap ones then.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to worry about longevity anymore. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
done. Yeah. How happy am I? How cheery. We'll all be dead soon. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
dead. Soon will be.
I'm feeling better.
I mean, some cultures have a better outlook on it. Death is just part of life, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you realize in your early development as a fetus how many cells had to die to make your skull and to make all the cavities in your body, you're constantly living and dying. So puts it in perspective.
I bet you have fun on a date.
I'm just saying that it is fun because it means everything is fine. It's all part of the same thing.
No, I get it. I know. It's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. No, I don't worry about it.
It's a holistic view of the whole.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
basically, don't sweat the small stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, talking of small stuff, I think Noah's trying to get in. Where is it?
He's my favourite.
Yeah, I'm not always a terrier fan, but that's a cutie. I like that dog.
I think I like him more because of his backstory. He's got a
Oh, yeah.
fantastic backstory.
Bible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Come say, there you go. You little rascal. Isn't it?
hello, Noah.
Come on.
Has Henrik passed out?
an earthquake.
Why isn't that tail wagging?
Oliver?
Good boy.
He wants a treat. You got to give him a treat.
Well, where you going?
Fuck off, Dad.
Yeah. It's treats. Come on then.
Oh, no. Now I'm interested.
You're not having a whole one. You have a nice bigger than your mum.
Oh, was the microphone on when I made all that noise?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I'm home alone and I have to listen to the door when they come home. So I thought they were knocking, but there was no
Got
one.
the same
there.
keyboard as me.
Yeah, we're just admiring your keyboard.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice.
So Kent, does he never put weight on that leg, or just a little bit?
Oh yeah, no, he'll run up and down the garden full pelt, no problem. That is all. Oh look at me. Oh. You know, he can use it, but he only uses it when he actually really needs to. The rest of the time, he's quite happy to hop around on three legs.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah. What you want to? Up, down, come on. Oh, God. There you go. Okay. Yourself.
It's got a lot of energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, look.
It's all the
I'm
cocaine.
Yeah.
What's in those snacks anyway?
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Is there any coke in that? A bit.
Cocaina.
What? You cutie.
Okay, it's time for me to leave. So, but you will be on later, Kent.
2.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah, in about 2.5 hours. It's just time to have a
Yeah.
snack.
Yeah. Time for a nap.
Yeah. But then I may not be on tonight.
No?
But some other time. So, but it was nice having you here, and I hope to see you another time.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You're welcome.
It was good to come and have a little chat. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to slag off some reviewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We resolved nothing, but it was fun nonetheless.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you next
Take
time.
care.
See you later.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, things just wanted to work here.